Welcome to the High Rankings podcast, brought to you by Dispensary-Growth, the preeminent SEO agency for dispensaries. Each episode will dive into the world of search engine optimization for cannabis dispensaries. We'll discuss the latest strategies and tactics to help your dispensary rank higher on search engines and attract more patients and customers. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, join us as we explore how to maximize your online presence and stay ahead of the competition in the rapidly growing cannabis industry.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the High Rankings podcast with me and the other guy. Ugh, you're already irritating me.
Shut up.
Does your mom know you talk to me like this?
I mean, you literally texted me that this morning. It's like, it's just people I don't like.
Yeah, well, your mom likes me.
It's just irritating.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Moving on. We're on episode 81. We're going to do something sort of different today in that this won't matter to you listening to it, but we are pre-recording this because we pre-record all of them, but we're a week early recording this one because I will be sailing the oceans blue next week. And a lot of times it might not sound like it, but we actually have a whole outline of our episodes of the things we're going to discuss. And this one, not so much. Decided we'd make it more of a chatty episode, talking about some mistakes we've made. And I know you're thinking to yourself, these two don't make any mistakes.
Kaz
doesn't
not me.
make mistakes. But no, we have made some mistakes. And it's funny because I always say, if we're taking on a new client who's maybe got something a little different, or they're asking something different from us, or they've got a setup we haven't seen before, we always kind of talk about them and is this problematic? Can we, deal with this, whatever? And I always say, we are going to make mistakes along the way. And we know we're going to make mistakes along the way. But I would say a good solid percentage of the mistakes that we've made, we've learned from, and we've figured out why we've made the mistakes. And then moving on in the future or with new clients or whatever it might be, we have remembered that and, moved forward in a way of remembering that. So actually, not every mistake you make in life is going to be a lesson, but a lot of the things that we've learned along the way have come as a result of the fact that we could have and should have done things differently. So in that way, I'm not afraid of making the mistakes. As long as they're not impacting our client's bottom line, then it could more often than not just be we've made life difficult for ourselves and our clients never ever know about it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But what's new before we get into all of that? What's new with you?
So I'm getting into this new show. Maybe I'm a little late. I think it's been on for 2 years, maybe a year and a half. I don't know. It's the story WeWork, how it crashed.
Not familiar. Okay.
Not familiar with WeWork?
No, I'm not familiar with the show. Yeah.
It's got Jared Leto and Anne Hathaway. That eccentric founder goes and raises a ton of money, billions and billions of dollars, goes and raises a ton of money. And then I don't think they ever reached their IPO, and it just tanked. They're lying numbers and all that. It's on Apple channel. I forgot what they call it. I don't know. I just got it. I'm a little late to the party.
Is it? So it's an Apple original?
Yeah, Apple original. Whatever that streaming channel is. I've never seen Ted Lasso. I've seen clips of it on YouTube.
Oh
I've
my
never seen it. I've heard it's really good.
Oh my gosh. It is. Oh, it's so good. I was so sad when it finished. It's such a great show.
So getting into that WeWork show, that was pretty good. And yeah, Avs lost again last night. They didn't get smoked, but they lost pretty decisively in home ice. So I don't know. I think the media, it's just really bad timing for them. I think they're 0-4 now.
What do you mean it's bad timing? Don't you just mean they're not doing that great?
Well, it's bad timing because it's at the start of the season.
I don't understand what you mean.
They haven't won a game yet this season.
Yeah, I know that, but what makes that bad timing?
Because it's the start of the season. So now there's a narrative over their head of they haven't won a game yet this season, and they're a really, really good team, but they haven't won a game yet this season.
But are they?
Are they what? A
really, really good team?
Yeah, that's why there's the narrative that they haven't won a game yet this season. That's the whole point.
But I'm saying, I don't know how many games are in a season. It could be like baseball where there's 7,000 games. No one cares. But you can say they're a real, this is an outside perspective because I don't know one team from another and who's good and who's not, right? So this ain't nothing against your team, but I'm saying you can say they're a really, really good team. But are you saying they're a really good team because they're your team?
No.
Right? Or like as an outsider who's looking at it going, well, they're 4-0 and everyone says they're a good team, but like, you know what I mean? Like it's really hard perspective when you know on paper, like that's a great goalie or that's a great whatever position. Like you know that because obviously you're so like entrenched in the hockey world. But to someone like me who obviously doesn't know anything about hockey, it would be quite difficult to convince me that like they're a good team given that. You know what I mean? It's like it's like if you told me the Chiefs were a really bad team, but they've started out their whole season and they haven't been defeated yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So they won the cup a couple of years ago. They've got one of the top 3 players in the world. Actually, they've got 2 of the top 5 players in the world on their team.
Oh dang!
They are a really, really good team. They're projected like top 5 in the league, and
So
that's why it's so alarming that they haven't won a game yet this season. And I think they've let in the most amount of goals too.
What do you think is the reason behind that losing streak then, given that they're such a great team?
Oh, no, they've got some key injuries. We're talking about pro athletes, right? And it's like, oh, if they just do this differently, if that, it's like a reporter asking one of the athletes, like, what do you think went wrong? And the athlete's going to look at them. I don't fucking know. If I knew, we wouldn't be doing it. Like, we wouldn't be having this conversation, right? Like you see that look on an athlete's face.
Yeah, like what a dumb question.
Press conference.
Yeah.
From a reporter that can't even stand on hockey skates, right?
Yeah.
And that is a thing, by the way. Like in the hockey group I play in, like they're taught, they have PR. The team that they play for has a PR arm that teaches them how to, you have to go through like PR training, like how to not snap on reporters, even though it still happens, because it's their job to ask these questions. So why do I think this is happening? I think they're just having a slow start. And I guess it's better that they're having a 4-game losing streak or 3 game. I think it's 4 games losing streak now versus the end of the season, like before rolling into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it's bad timing. It could be worse, like I said, but some of it, I think goalie is such a hard position to play and it's so mental. I think it looks like he's in his own head. I mean, who knows? I know they have one of the top sports psychologists in the world on staff. So I've seen on like social media that he's working close with them. They're starting goalie, but I don't know. I think once there's going to be one game where they just explode for like 9 goals or something. Like they're just going to like crush the other. Like it's just like that dam is going to break, and it's usually one big play, like one fight, one guy just punches another guy out, or like one really big goal, or like an overtime goal, or something like that. Usually that's what sparks everything, and then they just, like I said, that dam breaks and they turn it around. But there's another really good team, the Edmonton Oilers, who has the best player in the world, actually 2 of the best players in the world, and they're not doing too great right now either.
So have they ever started a season quite this poorly?
Yes, but not as of late. Not with all these great players that they have.
Okay.
Statistically, they were the worst team in the league. Statistically, like in the history of the league, I think it was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
8 or 9 years ago. And they still have the same head coach. But back then it was just like, oh yeah, okay, Avs lose again. Okay, cool, big deal. But now it's like they have like a really big time roster and it's happening, which is why it's so alarming.
Were you surprised? Are you surprised?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. So that's where that's at. I watched the game last night. Played the Bruins. They're always a fun team to watch. It was a good game. It's just frustrating. So anyway, what is new in your world?
Oh, just busy trying to get ready for my trip. I haven't packed anything.
Shocking.
It's just losing a week with the hurricane, the kids being out of school a week. Your life just kind of like trying to catch up on everything, and I'm just like making sure my whole house is clean and all the laundry's done because my mother-in-law's staying here with the kids and the animals, and then packing and making sure all my stuff's clean, all my husband's stuff clean, making sure I have everything I need.
Wait, is it just you and Joe that are going?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So your mother-in-law's staying while you guys are away. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So, and then like, even when we get back, that first week is kind of hectic because I gotta take animals to the vets, and then my father-in-law's funeral is that week, and then it's like trick or treat and Halloween and all the school stuff that goes with that. So even though I'm gone a week, I have to make sure that I'm ready for the week after that before I leave, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I have friends whose birthday is the day that we get back. So I had to make sure I ordered, their gift before I leave. So it's just trying to remember everything to get done, because I just lost a week, but now effectively I'm kind of losing another week,
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just a lot of, and my husband, and this is not a criticism because he works so hard, like at his actual like real life job. He works really hard, and then obviously was pulled in 100 different directions after the storms came through. But he's not the person in our household who makes sure everything is ready and done, if that makes sense. If we
Yeah.
go on a trip,
Yeah.
I'm the organizer of the trip. I'm making sure we have everything we need for the trip. I'm making sure the kids are taken care of, the pets are taken care of. Like, that's my job, and I'm more than happy to do it. But it's just like, that's not his role, if that makes sense. So he'll just pack his clothes, and then pretty much that's all he takes care of. And that's okay, because, he works crazy hours and works really hard. So it's just a lot. And I'm definitely not complaining. It's just losing that week is, it didn't help, put it that way. But we're getting there, and I'm working through my house and the laundry and all that kind of stuff. So I think by the time it gets here on Saturday, we'll both be really ready for it. So.
You guys leaving first thing Saturday morning?
Yeah, so we go from Port Canaveral, which they call Orlando. It's not, but it's the other side of the state. It's probably about a 3-ish hour drive. So we'll leave just before 8, I think, and then head over there. And then we can get on the ship. I think because you get like an allotted time frame that you get on. So like everybody's not arriving at the port at the same time. It kind of helps cut down the lines. So our appointment is like 11:30 to 12. So we park at the port and then drop your luggage off and then go get on the ship. And then you can get in your cabin around like 1:30 on this particular ship, but you don't get your luggage for like hours. So you get your room, but not your luggage. But that's normal. You kind of know that. But what you do is you pack a carry-on bag. So say you were planning on going straight to the pool or whatever, you would pack a swimsuit in your carry-on bag and a change of clothes and a towel or whatever in your carry-on bag. So then that way you can enjoy the boat while you're waiting for your luggage. But like my husband has a tradition that he always goes to this burger place that they have on the ship, and he gets a burger. And then we've not been on this ship before, and it's huge. So we'll probably just wander around and explore. And then when we get our luggage, we'll probably just grab a drink and then, unpack and organize the room and everything.
So when you get back, what are you guys going to do for Thanksgiving? Halloween?
So that Wednesday is my father-in-law's funeral at the Veterans Cemetery. But also that same day at the kids' school, they're doing a trunk or treat. So only one of our kids participates because the other one, he's too cool. So he won't be.
Sure.
But the one, she's on the school council, so they've organized it. So that night, which will be the Wednesday, we'll come back from the funeral and then come back and help her get ready and drop her there. And then the next day is Halloween. And I don't know, because I don't know if she's really going to want to trick or treat. Our neighborhood is really small and we just don't get any trick or treaters, which is kind of sucks because I would love to decorate the outside of my house, but there's no point because we just don't get anybody. But there's a couple of really great neighborhoods where the whole neighborhood gets involved, and they really encourage people from like outside the neighborhood to come in. And it's amazing. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. There was one house in the neighborhood. I don't know if you watch Stranger Things. I haven't watched it since the first season, but I was well aware of this part of it in later seasons, where the kid like basically levitates outside the front of the house. And there was one house that legitimately had what looked like the kid levitating at the front of their house. It was so good.
That's pretty cool.
So she might go there maybe with a friend or something. So I'm not sure. I really don't know. I know what she's going as Halloween. She's going as, don't ask me the name because I don't know, but she's going as the character, the guy from Red Dead Redemption or Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's the same guy in both of them. I don't know, but that's who she's going as. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Is there a new one out? Red Dead Redemption?
I
As in
don't
like a recent
so.
one, like
I
last year or
don't
so?
think so, but she got Red Dead Redemption 2 first before she.
Okay.
I don't know why she did it that way, but she loves that game, so she's going as the character from the guy from that.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's what she's going as. So that's typically, that's what we'll be doing for Halloween.
There's an Avs game, I think the day before Halloween, or it might be on Halloween. So we're thinking of going to the Avs game, and there's a hockey show called Shoresy. It's about a team in Canada, not like NHL, like a very, very minor league team. It's really funny. I'll send you a clip. It's actually fucking hilarious. And it's very spot on to like the hockey culture and like mannerisms and like slang and like it's really accurate. It's really good. And my girlfriend thought it was like the funniest thing. I thought maybe because we kind of have this like similar sense of humor. I thought she'd maybe think it was funny, and she like loved it. So she wants to go as character from that show, maybe to that Avs game. I don't know. I'm thinking.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, she goes, "We're absolutely getting in that jumbotron." I kind of laughed. I was like, "All right,
that's cool."
Maybe a house party. I have a friend that throws a house party every year, but I'm getting too old to have like 10 cheap beers and then try and function the next day. So
yeah, I'm not really a
thing.
Halloweeny person. Like it's one of our kids' like favorite holidays, but it's never really been mine. When they were younger and they like dressed up, I loved their little costumes and stuff we had put together. But I don't know, it's never been my favorite holiday, so I don't get like so hyped up like a lot of people. It's like they wait all year for it. But me, I could leave it. I'm like, whatever.
I used to love trick or treating. I was the kid that would say like when we'd go trick or treating, and you'd see like take one on the porch, and I just dump the whole thing in my pillowcase and just run off.
Oh, so you didn't leave anything for everybody else? That's nice.
No, I just it's dog eat dog world, right?
No, it's not. It's everybody needs to not be selfish.
It's everybody for themselves. No, fuck that. If you're out there trick or treating, like I'm taking that.
That is what is wrong with the world. Now
Not anymore. I don't do that anymore.
Now some little kid came up behind you, all expecting he was going to get his Kit Kat bar, and the bowl's empty because some greedy asshole, came forward and took all the candy.
Well, he should have ran up there first, and he didn't. So look what happens when you don't hustle, right?
Wow. I hope you choked on your Kit Kat bar.
Anyways, I'm not like that anymore. I grew out of that phase. I think every kid grows out of that, hopefully. Anyway, yeah, I just really loved candy when I was little. Anyways.
Clearly you did, because you stole it from the poor innocent little kid. Good jerk.
Anyways. What are we talking about today?
Also, by the time this goes up, where will I be? I will be Monday, Tuesday. I'll be in the Dominican, I think, on a beach.
Anyway.
Sipping a cocktail. Yeah.
So,
anyway.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about all of the mistakes that you made. We don't mean personal life mistakes, by the way. Let me reiterate. We're talking about mistakes we've made with our company or our clients or SEO. We're not talking about all the things we did, like stealing candy from little kids at Halloween.
Emotional mistakes.
We're not talking about all the bad relationships we've been in.
Yeah.
That would be an episode.
Okay. So much of SEO is testing, right? A/B testing, split testing. Does this work? Does this not? We're going to put this up, research this, research that kind of thing. I think we've narrowed it down. I think we have 4 on here. These are the first ones that popped out to me. And that is, first and foremost, the first thing that popped in my head was using an iframe. This is a number of years ago, before products like, Jane Boost, Dutchy, and Timber, Mosaic, all those. Yeah, and just not even like we kind of knew like what the iframe was, but we didn't know like the first couple of months of doing this. Well, before we started and niche down into only do dispensaries, I would say I think 3 years ago. I don't know. Is that what it was? 3 years, 4 years ago? I can't remember. Anyway, not knowing like how much search volume there was around it and around products like strains, like wedding cake or truffle strains or like purple oracle, like whatever it is. And those iframe menus basically being invisible, I just didn't even think about it. And then I listened to a podcast once, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this could change the game. And that was a pretty big shift, but that was a while ago. That's a pretty big mistake. But yeah, that iframe is no bueno.
But also, I think to be fair to us on this one, like, I also think that it was not something that like Jane and Dutchie had also really thought about too. Because, and when I say that, I mean in terms of what their customers' needs were and how they could meet those needs in terms of the iframe and the products. Because I remember at the time that we kind of came to this realization of like, oh shit, like we're missing a lot of opportunity here because effectively there is that block. They didn't have the products available to alleviate that problem either. And I don't remember if it was Jane or Dutchie, I think it was Jane, that you had reached out to at the time, and they were beta testing a solution to that, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
So even though we were making that mistake effectively, so too were the providers to their clients.
I had listened to a podcast like way too late. And I was like, oh shit, wait a minute. Can we do this now? And then I reached out to him, and then I heard back. I don't know if it still is now, but the tech team was East Coast. So I got a response pretty quick. They're like, yeah, we are actually beta testing this. So we were one of the first agencies in the country to get our hands on the Jane Boost product. And I was like, wow, okay, this is pretty gangster. Now you can deep link. It makes it easier to shop, which we'll get into. Easier for a customer to shop for exactly what it is that they're looking for. And maybe not, maybe stuff that they're not looking for, like upsells, it makes that easier as well. So it was just a big turning point.
Yeah. And obviously the timing ended up working out great for us because, we were right at the forefront of being able to test that. But like I said, it was definitely something we could have identified way earlier. But I'm also glad that the timing of it worked out well for us in order to be able to not only test the product, but to be able to give feedback as to, okay, You need to change this, you need to change that, this doesn't quite work. Like being a part of that whole testing was really beneficial for us, but also for our clients at the time.
Yeah, we worked very closely with our development team on that. And when it was first deployed, it did not play nicely with other plugins in WordPress.
Yeah.
So that was the whole thing. We had to help iron out those wrinkles. But, it's a great product. It really is.
And again, because we were part of that whole thing, we were able to talk to the dev team about things that kind of we would like to see as well. And if it's something that we would like to see for our customers and our clients, for sure that, we wouldn't have been the only ones that wanted those things. So
yeah. And the feedback was taken from, dispensary owners. So that was so it's very, very valuable feedback. So that iframe was a whole thing a handful of years ago.
Yep. Okay, what else did we mess up on?
What did you screw up on? I know
no, because you taught me everything I know. So if I messed up, then that would be on you.
What about? Well, you had an idea when you texted me about this.
Let me go and refer to my contemporaneous notes. But actually, what I mean by that is my text messages. My two things that one particularly sticks out in my brain, which was the silos, like having silos on your website, which again, most of the things that we do have been trial and error and learning. And basically you've learned it, you've researched it, you've listened to podcasts, watched YouTube videos, talked to other agencies, talked to your mentor, and then kind of passed down onto me. Because, I did not come from an SEO background. Well, neither did you. But I remember you used to like, oh, watch this video. This is a really cool concept in this video or whatever. And I would start my mornings, watching videos, learning things or whatever. But I remember this one video specifically, and it was like about silos. And the person in the video obviously had extensive SEO knowledge, but he was talking about creating silos and linking pages within silos up, down, left, right, every which way, and the benefit of doing it and how much it benefits your search engine page results and why. And it kind of was like mind blowing. And what was crazy was we were still very new, but we had no clue. We had no idea about silos. And then it was like the minute we watched the video, well, you watched it first. And then I think like the next day you sent it to me or whatever. And literally the minute we watched that video, we were like, silos, and we have not stopped with our silos. Now we're always trying to find a new silo. Like, oh, can we make this into a silo? Can we make that into a silo? Like,
and it was more of like organizing a website, not just having like www.dispensary.com/Denver dispensary page or something, like properly structuring a website to make it as easy as possible for Google to crawl it. Because it's like you say you don't know what you don't know. And we'd worked on sites before that had proper structure, and we kept in line with that. But it was just like creating something like that. I'd heard about it, like and our analyst, she would tell us about it, and we just didn't put much value to it. And this is years ago. And then I saw the video and I was like, oh, oh, I see. Okay.
We really need to be doing this. Yeah.
Like the whole topical authority thing and what it does to your domain. That was pretty important.
Yeah, that was a big deal. But it was, again, like, there's a lot of people who are going to listen to our podcast who probably know way more than we do. And they're like, oh, you didn't even think about that. But there's also people who are just starting out, or they've just been tasked with a new responsibility at work and they're trying to figure it out, and they're listening to and watching as much information as they can, like you did when you first started out. And everybody has to learn, right? Everybody has to start somewhere. I'm famous for saying that you don't know what you don't know, but I think it is really important that we talk about the things that we jacked up and we could have done better, and that how late in the day we learned some things, because everybody goes through that, and it just makes everybody normal and human, and understanding that you don't know everything. And our podcast and all of the multiple other podcasts and YouTube channels and TikToks and LinkedIn's out there, they are such a powerful resource, because if you listen to a podcast a day or watch a YouTube video one a day, you will learn something from every single thing that you listen to or you watch. And it might be the smallest of things, or it might be something that makes a huge difference. But you should never be ashamed of making mistakes. You should never be ashamed of what you don't know. And you should never stop trying to learn. And I think that's probably the one thing I would really want to stress in this whole podcast. And that's why we're talking about the things that we messed up. Because honestly, in terms of silos, we were relatively late in the game. And I don't mind admitting that, because it was a massive learning curve for us. And what it did for us was be able to improve what we do dramatically.
And the results from that were pretty high once we implemented that. Yeah. And we still see it now of dispensary websites just not properly. It's not so much, it's like it's more of like organizing a website, having a proper hierarchy. We still see that all the time. Like literally, well, this is all we do, but literally every day we see even errors from other agencies. We see that in websites, and it's just...
And honestly, sometimes you'll be like, oh, take a look at this website. Like, what do you think, we can help with the client with this? And almost sometimes I get really excited when I see they don't have any silos on there. Because to me, what that means is if we can organize some pages they already have and put them into a silo and start interconnecting these pages, do you know how quickly they'll move up rankings from something that's quite that simple?
Yeah, that's already indexed. And
it will move the needle so quick for them. So it's almost like there's a part of me where I'm like rolling my eyes like, oh, they don't have any silos. But then I'm like, wait a minute, this is fantastic. They don't have any silos. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, in a way, it's not good for them because they've been missing out all this time, but it's good for them in terms of like, oh, we can, move you up real quick.
What else would you say is a learning experience? Coachable moment. What else would be a coachable moment?
I would say something else and this kind of interconnects a little bit, because it's like in terms of organizing a website and URL structure is like super important. But I feel like, and maybe my memory is not the best, but I feel like we were a little late to the game in terms of having state pages and then city pages within those state, in that kind of URL silo structure. I feel like we had pages, but I don't think we had them properly organized in a proper way. And I think that specifically was relating to the state pages. I think we were like, well, they're in Colorado and they're in, name another state in Denver, a city in Denver, I don't know, Colorado Springs. But I don't think we had them under a state page at one point. And I think that we kind of picked that up pretty late in the game as well. So I think that was another thing.
That was a handful of years ago.
Yeah, but I mean,
Market.
not late in the game. Like, oh, we just learned this last week, but it wasn't something that we were doing off the bat.
Ooh,
That's what I mean.
okay, that might have been a little later. You might be right. That falls into like the hierarchy and all
Yeah,
that.
it kind of falls it in, but I think it's really important to actually mention that specific one
Yeah.
because there was a lot of like local SEO, obviously, but it's a really important part of that. And I think we had the city pages, but we were lacking on the state page, I think, at one point. And I think we figured that out. Don't ask me how, but we figured it out.
I'll throw one out there. Not focusing on UX as a core offer in our packages. So just focusing on traffic, but not focusing on how to make it easier for someone to shop on the website. So like moving elements
like
around.
The 3-click thing that we talk about. Is that what you mean? You know how we have like the 3-click rule? Is that what you mean?
Somebody should get to where they want in 3 clicks or less. Putting buying elements on the website, like buy this, search this location for your favorite strain, click this button, that kind of thing. So if you get more people to the website, you should make it the end result is to get them to buy from the website. We didn't focus on the UX part of it or shopping experience when we first started. We learned that I think it was just after COVID. I think that sounds right. Anyways, that was not right away.
Yeah. But now we do.
Of course.
Now we have like buy now, shop now, everywhere.
Well, it was kind of a thing just because you couldn't deep link with iframes.
That's true.
So yeah, it's definitely a lot easier now. I think that page speed was another, focusing on page speed, whether that's not looking at hosting. So page speed, so including hosting and not taking all the shit off the website that's not needed, like APIs and like Instagram APIs or like anything that slows down page speed. Over 50% of users abandon a website on their phone if it takes more than 3 seconds to load. So you want that thing to be as fast as possible. So yeah, the technical aspect of page speed it just wasn't on the radar.
It's a crazy statistic. 3 seconds.
Yeah, sure, I'd fall into that. Like if I'm looking for a place that has like the wedding cake strain and somebody's website is taking 4 seconds to load, I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to close down the window and just find somebody else in the map pack.
Wow, we have become such an impatient nation.
Yeah, I just get poopy pants and you just move on. Attention spans are too small. It's just make it work.
That's insane. That's like you're the type of person that won't buy a food if it's going to take more than like 20 minutes to cook in an oven.
Yeah. I just want to, I'm hungry now. I'm going to be it's going to be worse in 20 minutes. Why would I wait 20 minutes? I want it fucking now.
That's why you are the perfect person to own an air fryer. Everything cooked in like 8 minutes.
Have you ever seen that movie Waiting? Remember that movie with Ryan Reynolds?
God. Oh
total
my
throwback.
God. It's such a great.
Yeah,
do you know what's
so
funny?
Awesome.
Is I worked in a restaurant for years when years ago, but I worked in a restaurant for years here in America. And literally every character that was in there, down to the kids smoking the weed out of the apple.
Yes, Andy Milonakis.
Literally every single one of those was represented by people in the restaurant that I worked at. It was insane. And I'm imagining that's like the story across every restaurant in America. But that movie is so great.
Shenanigans. Yeah, he goes, remember that pissed off customer I can't remember what pissed him off, but he's talking to the hostess and the hostess is like, yeah, we're going to mail you out a gift certificate and a free sundae. And he goes, what are you going to mail me a sundae? I want it now, goddammit. Like that's always in my head. I want my sundae now. I don't want to wait 20 minutes. I want it now.
That movie is so good. I'm literally wiping my eyes from the tears of thinking about that movie.
I know you know what I'm talking about too. You're going to mail me a sundae? I want it now, goddammit.
Or the girl that's an absolute bitch, but as soon as she walks up to the table, she just starts smiling and being
Naomi.
So nice. And then they're like, "Oh, I think I'll have an ice cream," and she goes, "Ice cream," and she walks away, and then she stomps down the stairs because if it's an ice cream, like they have to make the dessert, and she doesn't want to make the fucking dessert.
Yeah.
God, that movie is so great.
My old roommate used to work at a restaurant, and he goes, "Dude, that is so accurate. Like that's so accurate."
Oh, it's just the best. That movie. I'm gonna have to watch that movie. Good Lord. Okay.
We're talking about page speed, silos.
Oh, tracking. This is more your thing than my thing. But you were going to have like conversions and tracking and like, what were you doing before or what were you not doing before?
Like we were tracking and we were tracking like e-commerce, events, conversions, all that, but we weren't focusing on conversions. Years ago, we were focusing on the bigger picture of like how many new people from organic search landed on the website and like what pages did they land on. Like nobody really cares about that. All they care about is bottom of the funnel keywords like dispensary near me or wedding cake strain in Denver. Can you rank for those bottom of the funnel keywords and how much money did SEO make that dispensary? That's really all they care about. So we weren't properly tracking that in Google Analytics with events or conversions or anything like that or tag manager. And when that iframe went away, that it definitely made it easier. But again, we just weren't tracking that. It was more like focus on the backlinks and the content and all that. And that's great. But again, it wasn't focusing on the revenue that we were generating.
So when we were doing, well, I think this was probably before my time, but when you were doing like, say, monthly reviews with the clients, you weren't able to show them like an accurate ROI because you were focused more on like, look at how many backlinks and look at,
Yeah, it was the deliverables and then what the deliverables yielded of like, here's like a 15% increase in your organic sessions or, that, and you're in position 1 for these keywords and position 2 for, these kinds of keywords. And while the keywords obviously help and all that and rankings and search results, it really is just about how much money have we generated for that dispensary.
And honestly, I will say, I think the two most important things that, at least in my experience, that clients want to know is how much money did you make us? And are we beating the competition? Or how much closer are we to competition?
Yeah.
That's
pretty accurate. Yeah. Did you get us that bag? What's everybody else doing?
Yeah, exactly. And outside of that, I think the rest of it's kind of, unless you're a data nerd, which some of our clients are, but unless you're a data nerd, they like literally their eyes just gloss over because they just, they
saw from the last agency or the one that they fired before the contract was up for poor performance, and it's just bullshit.
Yeah, they want that bottom line. That's really what they want.
Yeah.
So anything else you messed up on?
Nope. It's been a completely clean record since then. You?
I don't make mistakes.
What did our old boss used to say? He's like, I thought I made a mistake. Turns out I was just no. What the hell did he used to say?
He said a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true. I thought I was wrong. Turns out I was just mistaken. Something stupid like that.
Oh, I have a sign on my desk. I've had it for years. It says, "I would agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong."
The fuck out of you. Anyway.
I mean, I'm sure we've made a lot of small mistakes along the way or things that we could have done more efficiently or been more proactive in. But I just think that's all part of the job. It's part of a learning curve. But those are like some big ones where owning them and admitting them on our podcast is a way of like making sure that everybody else doesn't make those mistakes. Or, maybe you're listening to this podcast and like Charlie did when he was learning about like the structure of the website and the silos or whatever, like, oh, okay, I didn't know that, but now I do. So now I can implement that moving ahead. Because that's the only way you learn, right? Is looking for ways to improve.
Mm-hmm. And track it.
Yeah. And I will also say that internally, like structurally internally within our organization, we have changed a lot about the way that we do things internally. So in terms of the spreadsheets we use or any tools that we have that we use internally within our company, communications within our company, we've gotten a lot more efficient with a lot of things internally. So where we've made mistakes because maybe we're like duplicating efforts when we really don't need to be, or somebody's got a strength that we didn't utilize before that we're now utilizing. So there's a lot of things that go on internally that obviously aren't right for this podcast, but that where we've like, oh man, we've been doing it this way all along. And actually this way is much more effective,
Mm.
So even though it's not right for the podcast, because that's not what that's about. But there's a lot of other things that we've really learned from in terms of internal structure and things that we do, behind the scenes.
Hooray, SOPs.
Gotta love them. Nobody likes writing them, but we all benefit from them.
Well, I think that's about it, huh?
I think so. I think we're golden, as they say. Probably. It's race week this week. I'm missing it, but it is race week this week.
Like, it's going on right now?
They're there right now. So they'll be doing media stuff today, and then tomorrow it's a sprint weekend. It's in Austin.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. My girlfriend's talking about that.
Yeah. You were going to take it, but you never did. So.
Wait, what? Take you?
Yeah, us. Me and her.
What do you mean?
Both of us. Because here's the thing. We both like F1. We both know what we're talking about. You have no clue.
I don't think I was in this conversation.
Well, maybe you weren't. Maybe it was me and her in the conversation.
Whatever. Anyway.
Okay. Well, we'll be back. And in the next episode, I'll be telling you all about my trip. In the meantime, you can find us in the usual spots. You can listen to us on Apple Music and Spotify, in YouTube. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on Instagram. Please comment, like, subscribe, review us. We like reviews. If you could give us a review, that'd be fantastical. And maybe we should do a little giveaway or something for reviews. Are you allowed to do that? Is that like a legal thing?
Maybe. What, like a windbreaker or something?
Who wants a windbreaker?
I don't know. What do you give away? I don't know.
I don't know. You give away, like, I don't know, an Amazon gift certificate or something. I don't know, something. But maybe if, and it
I
doesn't
like the
have,
windbreaker idea.
who the hell wants a fucking windbreaker?
Because it's fall, dummy.
I'm not going to write a review for a windbreaker. I'm telling you right now, that's not happening. But anyway, maybe we'll look into that. Maybe we'll dig into that when I get back and see what we can do. I just want to make sure it's legal and that we can do it. Anyway, in the meantime, everybody have a great week. Everybody stay safe, and we'll be back with another episode before you even know it.
Peace.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the High Rankings podcast, brought to you by Dispensary-Growth, the preeminent SEO agency for dispensaries. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you found value in the insight and the tips we shared. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. And if you're feeling super generous, we would love it if you left us a review. If there's a specific topic you'd like us to cover in a future episode, or if you have any questions, you can go ahead and find us on LinkedIn or YouTube. We'll see you next time.